Hello, everyone. Welcome to Loud and Proud Orlando. It's a Wednesday, December the 11th, 6:38 p.m. It's got a little bit of a weird time, but thank you for your support. Sorry for the technical difficulties in the intro. I know it just kind of, for some reason, stalled a little bit. But yeah, um, everybody loves Facu. Everybody loves Facu, man. I feel like playing that jazzy tune from the sitcom. You know what I mean? Definitely, it's been quite of a day of news. And where's Facu going now? Is he going to Palmeiras? Is he going to Leon? And then is he going to Cruz Azul? Then people getting upset. Palmeiras fans like saying fake news. Faking news. Is it faking news? Is it faking news? Or and then people trying to be like doing like journalistic like best practices, and it's the same every year. This the season of the transfers. We'll talk about what's happening with Facu. What's the latest on Facu Torres? We'll for what we know and was sourced across the interwebs, and what other pundits have also said about him, what's international media saying about him. We'll have all of that and more today. Also, Torres to Palmeiras, deal stalls. We reported that this morning. Torres to Cruz Azul hijack. Tom Bogert and Cesar Luis Merlo kind of collaborated on this one, and they kind of both said it. So, and then last year, well, last season, um, they leaked the 10th year anniversary white and red kit, like the 10th year, you know, um, heritage kit, for the Lions, and we apparently are the the team that just always leaks their jerseys. But we'll discuss. We have the picture, so I don't know if this is going to be a training top. It does not look like a training top, but we'll discuss all of that and more. Expansion draft. What's happening with expansion draft and free agents, and maybe are the Lions be able to poach somebody from expansion draft? There's a lot of good names in different various positions. With me, as always, is my co-host here, John. How are you, my friend? I drove you crazy. Well, we drove each other crazy today. There was so many news, man.
Yeah, man, that's great. We're on top of it. It's good, because there's so much happening that if one of us sees it, we gotta be everywhere because stuff happens and it happens fast. Like you said, it's we can't just have like a normal transfer window. It's I posted this morning the San Andreas CJ walking along like, oh, here we go again. You know what I mean? It's like this is Duncan all over again. It just I don't blame our front office at all. It just seems like these things happen, obviously, and it's we said on the last pod like, yo, this is the
This is
clubs
about to happen.
right, like the club agrees terms with the other club. You can say, yo,
Yeah,
go talk to my
it could fall
player.
through.
If the player gets there and if he's like, yo, I'm not wanting this, you're not offering me what I want, or who knows, we'll get into that, but stuff can happen. And then here you go, and then later in the day there's even more news. So it's been wild. The Pride made a signing, so there's
Yeah,
been so much happening, so much going on. And yeah, and also it's early in the preseason, I mean, sorry, early in the off season, like usually there's this little bit of lull here where we're waiting for like end of the year, January, and then things start to heat up. The news is coming thick and fast this year, bro. So no time off for me and you, huh? It's been a wild day.
yeah, man. Really, we thought, hey, we're gonna do a schedule of pre-recorded videos, put some content, little reels, little shorts, here and there, but no, man, it's been just Faku 1, 2, 3. Everybody loves Faku, and it's fine. We'll discuss what's happening. So, let's start with the Faku saga. Now, I really truly believe this is not going to be like Duncan McGuire saga. I do want to say I think this is more than likely there's a lot of suitors for our
No,
best.
nothing will be truly like that. That was a one of a kind. Yeah.
Right, that was a one of a. I don't think no one can make the same dumb mistake, but it's okay. Uh, that's a black. What's it
We
called?
better hope
The
not.
Rovers. The Rovers. But Facu is the best player in Orlando City. He's definitely the franchise player. He's the designated player. He's the guy who scored 20 goals one time in one season, 6 assists. He's been scoring consistently for the Lions. Penalty king for sure as well. You know, he missed, I think, one this whole entire season. But he's been definitely the face of Orlando City. So, with that being said, when he's on the market and he said, hey, I want to take my talent somewhere else, of course, a lot of teams are going to come and try to poach him. Now, today, obviously, we reported on our last spot that Palmeiras put a bid on Facu, and even Tom Bogert reported it. Reported it, and this morning. Thank God I have IPTV. I do want to say, I know that I'm probably extending my reach, but I'm able to watch some Uruguayan channels. So today, Uruguayan journalist Diego Jocas from Sport 890 de Uruguay reported that, obviously we posted it, after a meeting with Palmeiras' coach, which I believe is the former Sporting Lisbon coach, John. I don't know.
Yep.
He just seems like a grumpy guy to me. You know what I mean? Like Oscar, you see Oscar, you see that smile, you know what I mean? You see that, he looks kind of grumpy to me. But anyways, Abel Ferreira, I think I believe is his name. So, um, apparently, according to Diego, he said that the negotiation with the Uruguayan winger halted immediately after meeting with the coach, and that he still had proposals from Cruz Azul and Leon. And obviously, I put it there because it's true. I mean, on the last episode, we mentioned about the volatility and how changing this could be between big money Brazilian clubs. It's just nature of the beast for them like that. And now, this is not to criticize Brazil. That's not what I'm going to get at. But what I'm trying to say is that that's the way not only Brazil works, but a lot of South American countries work this way. And so, then, I don't know. First, when you heard about this, John, what were your thoughts? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely it was wild for sure. I think there was a lot going on. I think the um the first thing is like what we said about what happens with, you don't know when you actually meet the player and when the player talks to the coach, and when they talk to him about money, like it's not always clear whether those conversations are had before, or whether they are, seen after. So it's always like when those two people meet, is it going to go well? Is Facu going to be told the right things? Right. I've seen a few people posting that he was maybe didn't want to play right wing back because they have like other players in attacking for positions. So maybe he was going to be say, hey, we're going to put you in a position you don't want to play. I have no idea if that has any truth to it. Also,
Yeah, I
there's the
mean,
money thing. There's also like how much playing time they could have said to Facu, you know, oh, you're going to play this much, or, you're going to be a rotation guy, or we're only going to play you in this many games, whatever. Like that could have happened. It could have just been straight up like he didn't like the vibe, but it's clear to me that something happened in these negotiations to cause it to stall, or people reporting that it's just broken down completely. So something has hit a bump in the road. Something has happened. But yeah, I mean, as a shock, somewhat, but like you said, Luis, he's not going to be treated the same way like he was here at Orlando City, and maybe he is like, I don't like the idea of the way I'm going to be treated at this club if this is how we get off to this foot with this manager. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, and look, Palmeiras is one of the big money clubs in Brazil, right? And they are definitely a huge club in South America. They're one of the greats, for sure. Now, I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it all before. Even with the Peruvian league, they're very. It's either my way or the highway. You play in America. Like it's not. You're not to our level. Um, 20 goals in the MLS for them. It's not as 20 goals in France, for example, or 20 goals in Spain. Which it seems kind of stupid to me, that mentality, because we live in such globalized world right now. And as you saw today, if people have missed, 134 people watching right now, if people have missed today, CONCACAF Champions League champs Pachuca play the Intercontinental Cup, which gathers the winner of CONCACAF Champions League and the winner of Copa Libertadores. And Pachuca destroyed Botafogo 3-0, and CONCACAF crowned themselves to be the kings of America, of the continent of America, the American continent. So literally, they beat the Copa Libertadores champs. So um, it's a huge thing, and so everyone North America is asking for a little respect, and so Facu comes to North America, so obviously they're gonna treat him differently. I feel now it could be that, or so it could be that Facu wants the best deal for him, you know, and maybe there were. I mean, clearly there were other offers, as we know. I mean, there was a second tweet that we put out from another Uruguayan journalist, that is from a known radio in Durazno, Uruguay, which I've heard of that radio before. I confirmed that he was an employee there. It sounds kind of weird that I say this, but it's true. Um, Lucas Gomez, 89.3 FM. So he said that it was a drastic change on the arrival of Facu Torres to Palmeiras, and that while Orlando was preparing everything to send his docs, a strong offer came from Lyon. And so he says that the player is closer to Europe than Brazil. That's what he said. I literally grabbed his stuff and I literally translated it verbatim. So there's really nothing that I've added on to this. Now, when I first heard about this, obviously we have to know that, John, I know you brought it up too. I was like, how can Lyon sign players if they have like I think you said a transfer ban? I don't know if you want to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean that's this is kind of like what I'm saying is like the news. Even though this looks like a legit source,
Yeah,
then when you look into it, you're like, oh well,
yeah,
they're saying this, but Lyon supposedly have a transfer ban, so it doesn't really make sense. If anybody's been paying attention, like in November, I think it was. I mean, I didn't see this news until I looked it up, but they have a transfer ban. And they essentially got relegated and have a transfer ban, so they actually can't make transfers. But it's quite interesting because their president came out and said like, no, we're just gonna make transfers, like we're gonna find a way to make it happen anyway. So there's an audit of their finances, which is very interesting. I could show you here actually.
yeah, yeah. So to add on to what you say, well, we show the
Here it is on the screen.
yeah,
You can see Lyon have been handed a provisional
right. Uh-huh.
relegation to League Two, and their observer transfer ban to audit their finances. And this was only in November 15th. So yeah, it's obviously they are in like having massive issues financially. So it wouldn't really make any sense that they would come in and spend the money. So
Now,
perhaps, Luis, the early reports this morning were the transfer talks were stalling,
yeah,
and that there was a club coming in, and perhaps they assumed it was Lyon, but actually it was Cruz Azul. I don't know.
yeah. I
We
mean, I
have
mean, they did. I mean, the first source mentioned Leon and Cruz Azul. So
Yeah, so I think that was
no,
the thing. Everyone was looking at Leon, but really Cruz Azul
now
was the one that was coming in.
I do want to add onto what you said about Vexter, which is the owner. John Vexter is the owner of Leon.
Yeah,
Now, this is what I've been told by some colleagues in Europe. John Vexter has already met with the French government regarding the Leon status. It's expected to possibly be kind of, they're gonna have to redo and look at all these books again. Now you have to understand, John Baxter is the owner of, and this is the craziest thing. He's the owner of Crystal Palace. He's the owner of Botafogo, which are the current Copa Libertadores champs, which are a Brazilian team. So, uh, but he owes a tons of money in Leon. So technically, he there Leon fans, and when it comes from the Leon camp, that I found out today was that they feel confident that this is not going to get anywhere once the season ends. They feel like this is going to be fixed somehow, that they're not going to get relegated. That they're gonna, now, again, this is coming from the Leon camp. Now, I am not saying that this is incorrect. I agree with 110%, but I really don't think that Facu, being the best player in an MLS team that is one of the four best teams in the league, literally, like you could with facts, the four best teams in the team in the league, he's gonna go to a place in which he's in limbo, right? I mean, really, we don't know what the status of Leon is right now, right? I don't think after him seeing what happened with Duncan, he's gonna jeopardize his future. What do you think? I mean, it's common sense, right, John?
yeah. I mean, also it's like they're auditing their finances like
Yeah,
that. They're basically put into like an administration
yeah,
status. So like they have to, like you said, resolve all of that, and then they'll be allowed to make transfers again. So it's right now, it's not a viable option in my opinion. You know, they're gonna have to get the stink of being financially insolvable, off of them first. And even if I was a player, I'd be worried about, like, am I going to get paid? Are my wages going to come? So yeah, it's not a very good option for Facu. He shouldn't go to Lyon. And so, yeah, basically that's out the window. But then, of course, Luis, the news that came later in the day, being that, in fact, it's more that Palmeiras want to, sorry, the Cruz Azul trying to hijack the deal from Palmeiras, which, we've seen them spend money on MLS players in fair amounts recently. So this makes sense from some perspectives that they're looking for another big player to come into their league. I think they're trying to be like Brazil a lot of the ways, where they're trying to bring players in and then sell them on to Europe, develop them, see if they can make money that way. And Facu is in that category. So looks like a bit of I don't know if you call it a bidding war, Luis. What would you
yeah.
say?
It's like a fight, like a bidding fight,
Yeah,
like a bidding war for
but like
sure.
also you got the the fact that Palmeiras have like stumbled at the first hurdle, right? They had the opportunity to sign him first. Something has happened. We don't know exactly what has happened, but something has happened to stall those, like conversations between them on the personal terms. And now Cruz Azul have come back in saying, yo, we could probably match that or do better. We don't know. But it was reported here from Tom Bogert that they had not actually at this point put in an offer yet. He
Yeah,
says, Cruz Azul are confident, but they have yet to submit a bid to Orlando City for the player. Sources say Orlando has agreement only with Palmeiras and would be happy if Torres returned for 2025, sources say. So the situation is fluid, Tom says. Like obviously the situation is fluid. It's constantly changing all the time. But right now, Cruz Azul potentially are going to come in with a bid as well. And maybe, if they're get that accepted and their personal terms then go better with Facu, it could happen there he goes to Liga MX instead of Palmeiras. But the Palmeiras deal is not completely off the table yet, but it is taking a serious, it's like it's got a gunshot wound. You know what I mean? Like
Right, right,
it's going to be
definitely.
hard to come back from this. I feel
Now,
if the
now,
relationship is already burned.
I personally believe if my dog right here. I personally believe if you're gonna go to Liga MX, might as well just stay in the MLS. I mean, honestly, I mean, right now there's MLS teams right now are definitely, um, even though Pachuca, beat Columbus and all of that, I feel like still MLS has improved tremendously. They're right now the league that everybody wants to watch, not here in North America. Um, you got Messi, you got Marco Royce, you got all these really big profile players. The World Cup's going to be in America. Club World Cup is going to be in the United States. So you have to understand that here's where it's at. So my question is this: Cruz Azul also. I mean, if I'm saying that Brazil is volatile, Mexico, they don't give a. You know what I mean? Yoshi Yotun went to Cruz Azul. They pay mad money to Orlando City. I think it was one of the highest transfers in that time for Orlando. They paid. They he or just I think Joshi left on a free. I don't remember very well. I don't know. Don't quote me on it. But Joshi left, and he did the coach or the president there of that club. He just didn't like him or something. Benched him for one entire season until what's his name? Juan Reynoso. Coach Juan Reynoso came in and they were able to win the championship over there. But he was playing. He was a high paying sub. So if they're doing this to a Peruvian, you know what I mean? And yes, Uruguayans have had more success in Liga MX. But what I'm saying is, I mean, are you really going to go to Mexico? Like, I mean, if you're already in the States, like, why will you, it just doesn't make any, like, if you're looking at the perspective family, if you're looking at the perspective of mainly, being closer to your relatives, I think Palmeiras, even though it's probably a more competitive soccer or a bigger team like Palmeiras, I think the upside is higher. So if he goes really and does really well, he puts the same numbers or more in the Brazilian league, he can damn guarantee he's going to go to Europe. Damn guarantee it. Now with Liga MX, I don't know. It's the MLS. It's definitely possibility as well. But also, I mean, look, he's been playing consistently, scoring 14, 13, 20 goals a season, and he hasn't flew to Europe yet. So he this a as his dream, like he wants to go to Europe. So if I have to choose, if I'm him, I would probably go to Palmeiras, and I have Uruguay so close by. I don't think Mexico is. I mean, it depends on on him in the end. I mean, again, I could be bluffing right now and just talking out of my ass.
I agree, man. That's why I'm saying like Liga MX is, I think, trying to do what Brazil have been doing for the last like 20, 30 years, which is developing players and selling them to the biggest clubs in Europe. And they're the only clubs around the world that are going to pay the 30, 40 million that, you want for these big players to go. So it's a situation where I think Facu will probably consider it, but it might not be as attractive as Brazil. Like before, the reason Palmeiras was so attractive, obviously because how big a club they are and the reputation and everything. Cruz Azul is still a very big club, of course, but I think also the location of Brazil to Uruguay was a big factor, like we talked about there. So does he have the same feeling about going to Mexico? Is that really much different geographically from being in MLS? Maybe because it's it's a smaller country, less travel. He's a bit closer to Uruguay, but it's not the same as going to Brazil to be close to Uruguay. And then also, like you said, Luis, I don't necessarily think right now that it is a better stepping stone than MLS to go to Europe if that's his eventual goal, if that's what he really wants. And the other factor is maybe, talking with both Palmeiras and then maybe with Cruz Azul, he'll kind of be like, actually, I don't really like any of this. I'm good. I'm going to stay in Orlando City. Like the grass isn't always greener on the other side. You know what I mean, Luis? Like it's sometimes players step out and they actually decide, no, I don't want to do this, and that could happen too. I'm not saying it's definitely he's going to move away, but I'm not saying also that the Cruz Azul that move might not make sense to him. So we don't know. Like we thought he wanted to go to Palmeiras. He probably thought he wanted to go to Palmeiras. Something is up with that. Now it's like, okay, what's plan B? Mexico is on the table. Staying with Orlando City is on the
Yeah,
table.
I'll stay with Orlando.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like he probably didn't even plan for plan B. You know, he was probably just considering plan A, being going to Palmeiras. So right now, I think it's sort of similar to when Duncan was. You know, he talked about when in an interview when he was sitting in the airport. Sitting in a hotel in England, waiting for Blackburn to call back or waiting to
Right.
hear from Sheffield Wednesday. Like these players, they get stuck in these situations where they're kind of they gonna leave one club and they're not 100% in a new club yet. So it's kind of up in the air. But Cruz Azul could definitely be a possibility. Him staying with us is also a very strong possibility as well.
Yeah, those three possibilities have the most sense. I'm gonna read some comments real quick. Says Orlando City used to have partnership with Stoke and Morelia, according to Wiki. What happened to anyone now? Well,
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
MLS right now, it's a step above Liga MX. I'm sorry to say, but I feel, I mean, infrastructure, safety, and that's all I'm going to leave it at. Safety, infrastructure, life, work-life balance. Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you want money and you want to be, one of those blue lock. If you watch anime, one of those blue lock players, cool. Go and fight your ego there in Mexico. Cool, make all the money you want and excel there. I'm sure you'll get somewhere. But right now, I mean, the cool league in North America, it's the MLS. I mean, whether you guys don't want to see it or not, it's just the way it is right now. Stream Jesus, fuck with to Stoke City.
No,
Probably not.
we don't have the money. Nope.
Kill, kill, kill. It says, I am Mexican and pound for pound, Peruvians are better players. Seems like Luis forgets about Quispe and Ruidiaz in Morelia is a legend. Well, Morelia is gone, so they no longer exist. And yes, Ruidiaz was two-time scoring champion in Mexico. Piero Quispe, he's still growing as a player there. It cost him to make an immediate impact. So, it's just the way it is. I wish him the best. All I'm going to say is this. Um, you know, it's great that they're doing great. I just don't see. I just don't see Faco going there. I just don't see Faco going to Mexico. Can we talk about Orlando City being one of the teams interested in Furasao?
Oh, I did see some rumors about that, but yeah, I'll kind of I'll look it up for you. But yeah, I don't know how much is true, but there's been there's rumors that there's some potential. It's that classic South American, like, oh, there's MLS clubs rumored to be interested in him, but they don't specify who. And they're one of the clubs that have been linked with potentially being us is us with Furacao. So we'll see, but I don't know about that one.
Like to work as a partnership or them to come and own the club?
No, I think as a player.
Oh, a player. Okay. All right. This is Justin Faco to Alianza Lima. The guy's just bluffing. He's not going to Peru, bro. I mean, come on. Hold on, let me. Buenas noches, everyone. I wouldn't want to see Faco in Liga MX. I don't think it would benefit him in the long run. I agree. Botafogo was not playing with their best team. Yeah, that's why everybody says. Because they just played last Sunday and won Brazilian championship. They had to travel to Brazil, Qatar, and play on Wednesday. Well, you just totally gave away history. Sorry, man. I mean, it's an intercontinental cup. I mean, you gotta represent for your confederation. Daniel da Silva Carvalho, obrigado, parceiro. Facu Jadi vem para o Palmeiras. It says what was the chance that he could land in Palmeiras? I mean, it's a pretty big chance. I mean, I feel like it's a pretty good opportunity.
I mean, they'd have to obviously it depends whether it. We don't know the severity of which it stalled, right? Has it stalled to oh, it was so bad that he doesn't want to have anything to do with them anymore, or is it just okay, we're gonna come back with a better offer? Now that Cruz Azul have come in and try to get in, or potentially are going to try and hijack it. Does that mean we don't know? Does that mean that Palmeiras are going to come back with him? We also don't know whether it was over money or whether it was over like we said, squad rotate, like how much he was going to play, where he was going to play. It might have been something that Facu is just it's a deal breaker for me. So if that's the case, then he's not going to go to Palmeiras. It remains to be seen, but right now it's up in the air. It could go to either club, or either club could not work out. It's I think because with Palmeiras, I feel like they're trying to sign him as one of many star players.
Correct. Yep.
And I think for him, going from a situation here where he's guaranteed to play and he is the star player and being one of the highest players and best players in the club, he might not want to move away from that. So if he went to them and he was like, oh, we're going to rotate you and this is what we're going to offer, and he didn't feel like he was enough, that could be enough for him to say look, I don't want to take this step backwards. I feel like you guys aren't respecting me. It can happen. So is Cruz Azul going to give him that level of whatever he's asking for? We don't know. The same thing could happen there. And then in which case he might just say, I'm going to wait it out till the summer and then go to Europe. I think ultimately it comes down to him wanting to go to Europe. So if the right move isn't there now to use as a springboard to go to Europe, then I don't think he's going to take it. So he might look at Cruz Azul and say, that's not a springboard. And that just might be off the table, like you said, because of that, Luis. So we don't know what he's thinking. And I think that's the biggest thing here is the ball is in Facu's heart, right? He has to make a decision on what he wants to do. He's the bell of the ball and everybody wants a piece. Everybody loves Facu, which is why you named it the title of the show.
Yeah. So it's crazy to say, but if he stays in look, Orlando City with the roster right now could probably beat Cruz Azul.
I mean, we should have. We
tied
to them.
I mean, we should have
guys out, and we don't really care about.
I mean, and again, I don't want to sound very pretentious or cocky in any way, but I mean, I know that a lot of people are from South America, but you guys are not used to how soccer has evolved here yet. You guys will find out in the next World Cup more than likely. And you guys probably will see it in the Club World Cup, I'm sure. Even though I feel like LA Galaxy should have gone, or another club, but it is what it is. But I feel that the level of soccer here is grown tremendously. So, why would you? You're a king here. Why would you go to be just another number, right? So it doesn't make any sense. Now, I don't really see him as a money-driven type of guy. I don't think he even looks. I think he looks for opportunity. You know what I mean? I think he's the type of player that looks for an opportunity of pushing his limits. And so when he came to Orlando, he felt that was good on the money, but was an opportunity to catapult himself to go to Europe. Successfully, obviously, ups and downs. But look at everything he accomplished here. He's the face of a franchise in the MLS and all of that. So he's going to look for something that's going to be better for him. I don't think he's going to look for something equal or less. So I feel like Palmeiras has to answer the question for Mr. Daniel. Eu penso que Palmeiras tem muita chance para fechar a Facundo Torres. They have a big chance to sign Facu. So, DHDUC says, do you guys think he ends up in Cruz Azul? I don't know. We don't know, but I feel like he won't. It's just
I think. Here's the thing. If Cruz Azul throw the bag at him, yes. But that's what I think they have to do. You know what I mean? I think it's a case of he would have gone to Palmeiras if they give him like as much money as he is now, which for them wouldn't have been like an insane amount considering how much their players are getting paid, right? Cruz Azul, it's a bit closer to MLS. Like, say he needs to be one of the most paid players in the club. He needs to feel that sort of like, that he is one of the most important players in the club. So
Yeah.
it depends how they treat him like that. But in terms of like if he's motivated by going to Europe, then I don't think Cruz Azul is a good option for him, and he probably realizes that too. So we'll see. But I mean, modern soccer is changing. Maybe we're going to see the Mexican league making more of these moves, taking players from MLS for big money. I mean, look at what happened with Giacomakis. So it is happening. It could happen, but I think I'm with you, Luis, where it seems more of a lateral move for him for Cruz Azul.
Yeah.
Whereas Palmeiras, I think for him would have seemed more of like a step up in some ways, just because of the way that he probably sees that club compared to the way that he sees Cruz Azul, the history, the legacy of Palmeiras, etc. But also, he might just want to stay with Orlando City. It's very much up in the air, and I think the next sort of 24 to 48 hours are really crucial. In fact, in the decisions of Facu's career. Like, we're gonna look back years from now at his career and go, this was a moment, was where he made a really key decision. Either way, make or break, right?
No, for sure. I think this is a pivotal moment for his career, and honestly, I'm very happy that he, even though obviously there's a lot of rumors and there's a lot of things happening, but let me tell you, it's just part of what happens.
Big player, big move.
Big player,
Like
big
this
moves.
is what
Yeah,
it is.
it
It's a
is.
lot of. Is he gonna go here? Is he gonna go there? We don't know. Is the deal right? Is he gonna be happy? So many questions.
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting that at least he's getting a lot of eyes, right? I mean, we know for nothing he was our best player, so it's great. It's great for the franchise too. Joshua Tall, if Facu leaves, where would you want OC to look to get a replacement for him? Well, I mean, do you want to talk about the expansion draft real quick, or you still have more? We have more things.
Uh, I don't know. I mean, what we want. Is there anything else left to talk about? Faku, do we have? I think we should go through the comments and then we'll kind of move
Yeah, I mean,
on
Joshua,
to other subjects.
you want to read them real quick?
Yeah, I can read some. Let's see. I'm gonna go kind of back and look. Can you pull? I can't pull them up, so you have to pull them up for me. We've got. You asked all these ones about Cruz Azul. We talked about Botafogo. Kill. Justin Faku to Alianza Lima. He's messing with you
Mm-hmm.
on that one. Yeah, I think really Joshua Tall here has some interesting stuff. He's saying, I didn't know Leon and realized that they were in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's, something that obviously we didn't realize. We're like, looking at all this, we're like, okay, yeah, Leon are in. That can make sense. And then you look back, you go, oh, wait, no, Leon can't be in. Like, so there's always misleading information coming out. But hey, we check our, sources. We make sure we're tweeting this is where it's coming from. We're not saying this is true. We're just saying this is what is being said, because we want you guys to know as well. And like, we're interested and we want to be able to shed the information, whether it's always factually correct. We will say, where we found it and what's going on. So, Leon doesn't appear to be a viable candidate, like unless they magically sort everything out. So the reports that they're coming in with a big offer, I think we're more likely it was the Cruz Azul were coming in with a big offer. But as of right now, Cruz Azul have not made that offer yet. So a lot of smoke, right, Luis, but not always fire, right? And it's good to know the difference. So
Yeah. So and also, there's fluctuating info, guys. So I know that in the American market, this is not common. There's a lot of fluctuating info. I know that in the MLS is everybody's like, oh, Tom Bogert, you know.
Especially out of South America.
Right. Like,
There's a lot of different reporters, a lot of
yeah.
things happening. So
So
there's so much coverage there
yeah.
that you got to look at everything that's being
Yeah.
said and try and figure out,
Yeah.
what makes sense. But
Right. We are putting, like, today, for example, I posted everything I heard about Facu, literally. Um, and obviously we came over here and explained what we found and all of that. But now you have to understand the club also, doesn't really. I mean, I can call the club right now and be like, hey, so what's going on with Facu? Send us an email, please. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah, you know what I mean? So it's just the way it is, I mean, and
it's a
it's like that. So,
developing situation all the time,
right.
And it's the
And
same with
so,
Duncan. Like the way we reported that
right.
was we're getting as much information as we can
Like today,
from sources in England and like not knowing what's happening. It's all you can do in the modern age.
right, right. So in the MLS, you're channeling everything, controlling the narrative is called. And I'll say it bluntly like that. But when it comes to South America, there's like so much coverage. It's insane. Now, for example, like right now, like I could tell you some of the stuff that they're saying right now. In Brazil, they're already throwing numbers of how much they're going to give Orlando City.
Yeah,
And
like
again,
that's all unconfirmed.
this is
No,
all
nothing.
unconfirmed. This is all.
Yeah.
This is all. I mean, this is cited by Radio Bandeirantes, which is one of the biggest sports radios in Brazil. Like I again, let me show you, for example, this guy today, which is Palmeiras Palmeiras aficionado. This guy today cussed me out because of the Leon thing. It's a Gustavo Torrini. He cussed me out today. It's okay. So he right there, he's saying in Portuguese, Palmeiras is near to close signing of winger Facundo Torres of Orlando City for $12 million, which is 71.5 million reais.
Yeah.
It says here there is a agreement between the American club that is closed now. They're just negotiating with the player so he can do the medical exams so he can sign the contract.
Yeah.
The whole, it says the whole deal, it's 14 million. So okay, whole deal. So first it was 12, now it's 14. Okay, 14 million, 83.4 million, right? Plus bonuses. Now, Cruz Azul is trying to get in the way of the negotiation, but has nothing concrete sent to Orlando City, according to, again, and then he puts
Yeah.
Fala Soler is a journalist. He's a presenter. Actually, I know who he is. I've seen his shows. He's a very, very respected radio guy in Brazil, Gustavo Soler, for Radio Bandeirantes. Now, obviously, they're throwing numbers here, but technically, there's not a confirmed source by the club that will say that. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of, for us, reporting what we see. And it's, and if me based, I see that this is a source like this guy, for example, maybe not this guy particular, but maybe quote Soler. I feel like he will be more keen to know more than maybe, rather than me waiting for the Tom Boker tweet, right? Right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, also like there's so much happening. Like we
yeah,
obviously it
it's all
has stalled.
changing,
It's obviously
evolving.
stalled with Palmeiras. That is for sure. Something has happened there in the talks. And Cruz Azul, like many clubs will do, if they smell like, hey, wait a minute, this is not go over the line, we still might have a shot here, are talking about coming back in. Now they haven't actually come back in yet. Maybe that has happened today, and maybe tomorrow it will come out that they have put in a bid, and maybe their bid will be better than the supposed, 12 million or whatever is being reported. it could be right, could be wrong. We don't know. We
Yeah.
don't know any of the
Oh,
exact figures.
right.
So
I wouldn't like to confirm that amount,
no,
obviously.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Right now, we don't know the figure that was paid, like offered by Palmeiras. We don't know
Yeah.
whether the personal terms, how far they got with Facu with Palmeiras, and then secondary, we don't know what the Cruz Azul offer would be if they were going to come in. But we do know they haven't actually put an offer in yet. So it's all up in the air, right? I think,
Yeah.
like I said, in the next 20 to 48, 24 to 48 hours, we're
Now,
gonna really understand where Facu wants to go and where he's feeling that actually is going to be the better option. Is it still Palmeiras? Is he tempted by Cruz Azul? It could all fall
yeah.
through, and he could just end up staying
Now,
with Orlando
now,
City. We don't know.
yeah, he could end up saying. Now, my question and my so people realize this is everything is evolving, changing. There could be another club coming in, and say, "Hey, we want Faku," right? So, what I would say is, it's always brewing. New. It's part of the transfer window now. One good thing about us reporting this, I would say, and maybe other outlets, or even, you're kind of pushing the club to tell Faku, hey man, come on, man, like make the decision, bro. Like, like I got these people, bro. They pretty much just said what happened, bro. Like, we're trying to beat the Templars of the information, man. But like, come on, man. They're busting my balls, man. Like, come on, I got them right behind me. Hurry up, bro. Sign, man. Clubs do that all the time, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. It happened with the Duncan thing when everybody started reporting within the community about what has happened with Duncan, and then lo and behold, the club comes out with a statement, right?
Yeah, I mean the
Yeah,
club definitely, like all MLS
yeah,
clubs, try to
all
control the
clubs,
narrative. They only giving the information to Tom. Tom tells what he wants. Tom has all the sources. He is
yeah,
like the only guy who knows anything about what's happening in MLS. Like there's a couple other guys, but they don't get all the info that Tom gets. So
yeah, for sure.
other you can pull together other piece of information from outside, like in South America and Europe, places they're not controlled like that. The information kind of flows a bit more out of the club. So yeah, like it's definite that we can always get things that haven't always been announced yet or ongoing situations. And really that's what Tom is reporting here is, there's a hijack potential, but also Palmeiras is stalled. Like, so it's all kind of mixed together in a ever fluid and kind of changing situation. So
Yeah, yeah.
there's
So
a couple more comments here, Luis, I think would be good to
yeah,
get
so
to.
Brian Guerrero. Keep in mind that there's a 30% going to Peñarol. Yeah, there's 20%. Yeah, I believe it's 20 or 30%.
I
Yeah.
think it's the 30.
Yeah.
But it is common that basically it's what happens. It's like the chain of sales. So
Yeah, it's
30 cents
because
to Peñarol,
they
then we
discovered the player.
right, and then we sell on to whoever, and we get 30% of when they sell potentially to, I don't know, like Chelsea or Man City or whoever in Europe that's going to potentially eventually buy Faku. So it's extremely common, just the way it is. But they will have accounted that in terms of like, okay, we bought it for this much, et cetera, et cetera. So that's normal for sure. And then Helio has a good comment here. Helio saying, the club say that the club say that has a deal with Palmeiras. Brazilian press say that the next step would be his salary. Right. So
So,
that's
so,
what
so
we're
there's an
saying.
agreement. There's a verbal agreement. Like
Yeah.
everybody in the table said, okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Club,
The
player, and
clubs agreed, but the player terms
yeah,
have from what we understand have been
correct.
stalled.
That's
There,
what Tom said. Yeah.
I believe there was, I don't know, some of them reporting, Luis, that Faku left the room. Like, I don't know, like he just
Yeah,
walked out. I don't know whether that's
yeah.
true or not.
So did he close the door real tight?
I don't know. Like, we don't know. Like, but it definitely seems like something happened during those talks for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
What happened? We don't know.
The Uruguayan media is reporting that,
Well,
yeah,
they might be a bit more dramatic
yeah. I
about the
mean,
situation.
this morning, I woke up with Radio Uruguay, that radio that I mentioned, 89.3. They were saying he like you said, John, he was not pleased. He didn't
Yeah.
like he didn't like the way the coach was talking to him. I don't know, man. Like the whole
I mean
thing
that
is,
we don't know whether that's
I
true or
mean, I
not.
mean, were they there? They had like
Yeah.
a like a cup right behind the door. You know what I mean?
You don't know, but what we do know is something is gonna snag, right? We've hit a bump in the road for sure.
Yeah, but
And then Helio has another comment. He says, "Could his staff be using Cruz Azul to ask Palmeiras for more
probably.
money?" I
Hmm.
mean, I don't know. I think it's one of those situations where what happens is if you're the agent and the people representing Facu, you go
Right.
in the, you go whether Facu went in the room or not. They went in the room. The negotiations broke down on Facu's terms. They then come out of the room and they go, "What's Plan B?" Plan B is who was interested. Cruz Azul were interested. We call Cruz Azul, say, "Yo,
You want to put a
are
bid
you
on
gonna
it?
come in?" And then Cruz Azul will say, "Yeah, we'll get back to you." And that's where we're at. Like that could definitely be what happened,
Yeah.
but that's not really anything. Like that's just what agents do. That's literally their job. So the idea of them like hijacking, I think, is a strong word. Honestly, I think in some ways, like did Cruz Azul like send it and be like, "Yo, don't agree to terms. We're gonna offer you more money," or was it the case that it broke down and then Facu's people went back to Cruz Azul and said, "Hey, are you still interested?" And now they're going to try and hijack the deal. So
Now,
it's hard to say.
like if you do a balance of pros and cons, so when it comes to Palmeiras and Cruz Azul, just so people in Brazil, and because this is gonna be translated, and there's gonna be captions and all of that, just so people realize like the pros and cons on, like I see it this way, and again, it's my opinion, but I'm gonna say it. Brazil, it's obviously a step up than MX, and it pays well. You're closer to Uruguay. So you got your mom, your dad, your siblings, your young daughter's gonna be more likely with them, with your wife. It's easier travel right there. That's the number three. Number four, maybe it's the close distances, a higher playing Copa Libertadores again, like all these chances that he gets, and then maybe getting more minutes with the Uruguayan national team. Now, one of the cons is if you get injured or if you don't live up to the expectations, what could happen to you, type of thing. That's one con that you could kind of say. Fans in Brazil for big clubs are not the type. They're not like Orlando City fans. You know what I mean? Like Orlando City fans would be able to understand you're having a bad day in the office. Yeah, they're gonna bicker all over the internet. They're gonna like write all these comments and they're gonna rip you a new one, but all online. They're not gonna go get in your face like when you go and try to go eat a steak. You see those things in South America. They come up to you, hey, you missed a goal, man. Like you're a loser, And then now in Mexico, if he goes to Mexico, he gets that. He gets that because some fans over there are like that. But he also gets it's not a very safe right now. It's not very safe there. So and then yes, it's very level to the MLS. I would say a little under right now when it comes to even signings and things like that. I think the MLS is taking all the spotlight right now in North America, and so there's more pros with Palmeiras. I feel and I still want to say peace of mind with the Palmeiras fans that are watching. It's all, and guys, it's changing. It's all changing. It all could change in just a second. He could stay in Orlando, but I think Palmeiras has a huge strong case, and if he's being like other outlets say that he's keen and the club agrees, then
Yeah, I mean, you just got to
it,
fix whatever went wrong, and
yeah,
if he's happy and he's satisfied, then that'll be it, right? So makes sense.
yeah, makes sense.
Um,
Yeah.
do you want to move on to a couple other topics here?
Sure.
I wanted to talk all about. Let's talk about the free agency first. There is, of course, MLS free agency has arrived. Lots is going on. There was a
Interesting.
list put out today by Matt Doyle. In terms of, I actually put out first. I'll show you some tweets. So a couple of things. One, there's the re-entry draft. which is different from free agency, just in case you're confused by MLS. Don't worry, we all are. The re-entry draft is basically like where you can sign players that are being, let go by other clubs. Nicholas Gioacchini that we talked about,
Mhm.
Luis, is one of those. Giorgio Kashevsky, of course, we let go, but he's going
Just
to
bring
be
him
in
back.
that.
No, I'm just kidding.
Luca Petrasso and Abdi Salim, all three of those that we let go. So potentially, like if I was an MLS team, I'd be looking at Giorgio Kashevsky in the re-entry draft. So that was interesting. And then also we have free agents that will be available. They'll be able to negotiate with free agents as of 1:00 tomorrow. So 1:00 on Thursday, the 12th. Free agency will be open and people will be able to talk to players. So former free agent like Lions that are available: Joe Bendick, Felipe, we know obviously, Benji Michel is one, Greg Rajit is another one, poor Huan, man, like thrown out again. Junior Urso is the other. So just interesting to see all the X line. I don't think we should bring any of these guys back.
We could bring Ruan back and pair him with Angulo and
No Huan,
Flash and reverse Flash.
No. I mean, Benji Michel would be the one I would take back, but that would be like a heart thing, I don't think it would be. I don't think it makes sense. We're moving on from that for sure. I also wanted to show you that I talked
Is
about
Tesho in
Kyle
there?
Smith, huh?
Is Tesho in there?
Tesho is not. Tesho is retired.
I'm just kidding.
Kyle Smith is also a free
Yeah,
agent. So Orlando City, of course, we talked about this on last pod. He is, they've reported they're in talks with him, but also he can accept offers because he is a free agent. He, as of like I said, 1:00 tomorrow, free agency will open, and players at least the age of 24 that have at least 5 years in MLS. That it's Kyle Smith for sure. So he could potentially be leaving, Luis, if there's another club around that says, "Hey, we want you to come join us." But we'll see on Kyle Smith. So that one is up in the air.
look, to me, forever a Lion, man. I mean, to me, he's the epitome of what Orlando City is, man. I mean,
Yeah,
and that's the reason why he's in Orlando City is in talks with him. He's
dude.
loved by
I
the
mean, I think it's just a case of offering him the right amount of money, but then he might just want to move. Like he might want a new scene.
like San Diego. Like,
I'm just
he's gonna
saying,
go to
like,
California. I don't see him going to California.
if you look at it like a job, though,
Yeah,
like,
of
you know what
course.
I mean? Like a lot of
Yeah.
people after 5 or 6 years in one company just want to
True,
change
true.
a scene. Like they want to change a scene. So maybe he wants that. Maybe, maybe he wants to play a bit more before he retires. Like he knows here that he's just not gonna,
Yeah.
but maybe like San Diego, like it could happen. Like they could take a punt on him and say, we're going to play you more, or like be part of a new project. That's exciting. Right. So I'm just saying that Kyle is not out with us, nor is he in, but he is potentially open to business with other clubs as of 1:00 tomorrow. So we will see what happens with Kyle. And then also Matt Doyle talked about, he
Oh
sent
yeah.
out a list of free agents. So I thought we kind of quickly look through this,
I like the
talk
third one,
about
number 3.
guys that are available. Jeremy Abovisi, and this is center forwards.
He's
Jeremy
good.
Abovisi, Kai Kamara, and Joseph Martinez top his list.
Kyle Kamara hasn't played in Orlando yet, so hey.
Kai Kamara, the MLS journeyman, has been everywhere, like everywhere. Here's the thing: we have Dunk. We know Muriel is not a striker. Duncan has been paid like he should probably be our starting striker based on how much money he's being paid and based on the amount of output he has. Like he's definitely he's up there with one of our leading goal scorers of all time, and he hasn't even been in the club that long. So really, we're looking, I'd say, Luis, for potentially a third striker, but we also have Jack Lynn. You could play Enrique at the wing, and then you open up a slot. So I don't even know if we need a striker, but would you take any of these three?
I will take 110% Ebobisse or Joseph Martinez.
Ebobisse, I would take. I think he's, he's only 27.
Yeah,
And
I think
he's a decent
Ebobisse,
backup guy. He's fast. He's
correct.
big. He's
Yeah,
strong. He can
he's like a
score.
Benji Michel.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind him. Kai Kamara, too old. Joseph
Yeah,
Martinez Hell no. I'm sorry, Luis. I just can't. I cannot.
What happened
I cannot. I don't
to?
care. I
Have you
don't
seen
care.
Star Wars?
There is no argument. There is no argument. No, we're not trying to like
Darth
make.
Vader
We're
becomes.
not trying to Darth Vader. It's a like I don't want to see ghost version. Saintly version of Joseph at the end of the movie. No, thank you. Keep
He
him as a
becomes
bad
he
guy.
becomes good at the end.
I can't. I can't do it. I can't. No. There's just
Nah,
no way.
obviously Orlando's not going to take Joseph.
Please no.
But I do see him if for example Seattle is smart.
Yes, right.
Now,
That
for
makes
example, now
sense.
that Rothrock is injured and stuff like that,
Yeah.
like I will take Joseph. He'll be decent.
He's a good like backup option for sure. All three of these guys are good like rotation backup options.
Out of the three, Ebo Visa to me has a more upside to me.
Yeah,
110%.
no, I just can't. I can't stand Eddie. I think definitely it would be safe for sure, but definitely not Martinez. Wingers. This is interesting. You got Fafa Pico. I mean, one MLS Cup with
bringing some Fafa.
Like hey, he always did a number on us.
He can defend.
He's fast. He can defend. He's like Angulo type.
Yeah.
Wouldn't say
Fafa
no to
Pico.
him. Johnny Russell, too old. Jonathan Lewis, I'm not interested.
Nah.
So nothing much there.
Isn't that the singer from Korn?
Here's one for you, Luis. Attacking midfielder. What about Rusnak?
Oh, Rusnak will be great.
Rusnak is up here. So, attacking midfielders, DP for Sounders for years, of course. They're letting him ride. So Latif Blessing, another one, obviously one with LAFC. There's some winners here, man. I don't know if we want any more aging old men in the team. Personally, I don't. But
Rusnak, how old is Rusnak?
Rusnak, I don't know how old he's up there. Surely, right? He's got to be 30 something. Surely,
he's 30 years old. 30 years old.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Bad.
Can he do it like he used to? Is he producing?
Of course.
That's what I'm saying. We need a guy. We got some maybes. I don't want to sign another maybe DP. If any of these are, like cheap reserve options, I'd take that. But I don't think Rusnak's going to be cheap. Alex Ring on the central midfielder list. Anibal Godoy, Jackson Ewell, I think is an interesting shout. I wouldn't mind Jackson Ewell. Also Brandon Savania. He is an interesting player. I do not want Alejandro Bedoya. I think he's seen better days. So, any of those you're interested in, Luis?
Ewell, I think he's the guy with the most upside. He was in the national team.
Yeah.
We're looking for somebody to come and
he's still young. He's in. It could be a good backup for
truly make like something that could. I mean, I don't want to. Something that maybe like like you have Felipe. You know what I mean for Orlando.
Yeah,
good
backup number 10.
Like, he could come in and boom, like he could play a 10.
We have Nico kind of doing that at the moment, but
I mean, Nico could be poached too.
I don't know. It was just interesting to look and see who's on the market here and who.
Bedoya is too old to me, even though he has a lot of leadership qualities and he has a massive career. I feel like Bedoya should go for coaching. I think he'll be a great coach.
That could be interesting. Defensive midfield, they got João Paulo. Ilie Sanchez and Victor Wanyama. Any of those? I mean,
let me tell you,
Wanyama is definitely too old for sure.
Yeah, Wanyama's too old, and man, I mean, you need to put WD-40 on those knees, my friend.
João Paulo, I'm not. No.
João Paulo, he's had some injuries, but he's. I mean, a lot of people are gonna say, hey,
he's reportedly still in negotiations to return to the Sounders. So
I mean, he's like what? He was born in 91, so he's 33. He's 33 years old.
Yeah, I'm not.
I mean, he played high level in Brazil.
We have Muriel, we have Ladero, we have that quota filled. I mean, I don't want any. I want a guy in
maybe Orlando thinks that when other players are going to be poached. I don't know, but I mean, I think from them three, João Paulo or Ilie Sanchez for sure. I think will be
okay. Great. Fullbacks available. I mean, Juan we talked about. Poor guy.
Flash in reverse flash.
Definitely. And Yomili Assad is an interesting one.
Yeah.
He obviously scored that goal against us. He's fast. I'll give him that. Nick Lima. I don't think he's not it. Raheem Edwards. Now Raheem Edwards has played some good games against us. I like I
Raheem
like to look at Raheem
Edwards.
Edwards at times, man. I would say he could be a good
He's look
like left back or right back backup option.
look. We need that, man.
That's what I'm saying. That would be
We need
perfect.
somebody that's MLS ready as a left back or a right back. And
Yeah.
I like Raheem Edwards. He's
I
29,
Raheem Edwards is
29,
a good option.
29 years old.
I
Boom.
would,
And then
yeah.
you got Kyle Smith off the bench.
That's what I'm saying. You let Kyle go and replace him with Raheem Edwards. Makes sense to me. All right, center backs. Jack Elliott is another one that I would really
Yeah.
be interested in signing. I think if we're looking at, yes, we have Rodri, yes, we have Jansen, but
Or
we need
or
four
somebody pick
center backs.
Brecalo.
Right, like that could happen too. We'll talk about that in a minute. But like we need four center backs, in my opinion. Jack Elliott, I think, is really I think he's a very good center back, and he was really good for Union for years. They just had a bad year, but he's not even 30 yet.
Yeah.
He's got big, like I think we lack size in center back. He's
I
got
agree
that
with you
size.
110% on
So
that.
I would love to go in for Jack Elliott. I think he's a great option. Jesus Murillo, I don't know. Aaron Long, definitely not. Too old in my opinion, but still very good. Yeah, and then I'm not really.
Don't don't even say Arriaga, man.
I'm not enthused by
He's the
any of these
worst.
other guys at all. No,
He should go sell some hats right
no,
there.
I don't know. No one's buying Tim Parker. I'm sorry. No. Goalkeepers. I don't really want any of these. I don't think we need any of these. Steve Clark, Tim Melia, JT Marchin.
Alex
I
Bono.
can't say that guy's name. Alex Bono, JT Marchinowski. Yeah, no.
Look, I've never seen so much outpouring like love. Obviously, he has a huge story and with the club, but everybody has been like, "Oh, I hope we don't lose Mason. Like Mason forever, man.
I think
Stay
he's just a local
local
legend. He's
kid,
been
a
here
local kid."
forever, and like, yeah. But I don't. People say like he's first team quality. I don't. I don't
I
know if
don't
he is,
know. I don't know
man.
about that. I mean, objectively
I
saying,
honestly don't think that he is.
yeah,
I don't think he is. I think that he could just be our backup forever, and at some point that might not be enough for him. But let's look at it this way, Luis. If Pedro were not to, like, if say Pedro retires, are you giving the job to Mason? I don't think so.
yeah,
I don't think they're going to put all
I'm
their
not.
faith in Mason. Honestly, and as much as I like the
I
guy
think
and everything, I think he has a ceiling, and I think if he's content being a backup, that's fine. But if he wants to go do more, like he has to, like look at that happens a lot. Like look at what happened with McCarthy, right? Like you got to go to another club if they're going to give you the chance. I don't think he's ever going to get that chance with us.
Well, I mean, he could get a chance with San Diego, but I don't know if San Diego is interested. I mean, you got,
Right, maybe.
I mean, they're trying to, they have Chucky Lozano. They have, they're talking about, there talks about Keylor Navas coming in as a keeper. I don't know. I wouldn't spend that much money on any keeper. I think
Yeah.
you can put a local young cat as a keeper always. We've had Greg Rashinson at some point in Orlando City. Come
Yeah,
on.
exactly. All right. Speaking of the expansion draft, of course, like we talked about, they brought out a list of protected players. So we're going to talk about the unprotected ones.
I have some info too about that too.
I left off on this list. I left off the guys that we have like released because, in my opinion, like we're not protecting them anyway because we're not even giving them new contracts. So those guys are out. The ones that we expect to be here next year that are unprotected, big one, Brecalo, Bruseth, Nicola Darrow, Jack Lind, Luis Muriel, Kyle Smith, Mason, and Cicada as well. So for me, the biggest being Brecalo and Cicada. And weirdly Bruseth, because I think that there could be an upside to him, even though we haven't seen anything yet. I still want to see what he can be, right? So I don't really want to lose him straight away, but I don't think anybody is going to come in for him anyway, because we don't know what kind of player he is in this league yet. I think it also shows like Luis Muriel not being protected clearly shows we're not scared. Like, please, someone come take me kind of vibes on that one. Anything here, Luis, that really shocked you or upset you, or mainly just Brecalo, like a lot of people.
Well, I mean, obviously Brecalo, but you have to understand Brecalo has been injured. He came, I believe, with an injury.
Is it
And
Brecalo or Brecalo? I can never remember.
Brecalo, I believe.
Brecalo.
Yeah. So he came with an injury, and he never gave his full 110%. So we haven't really seen a game that he's 110%. So
Yeah, he hasn't been like
um,
full. He hasn't been
so
like fully fit. So I'm hoping with preseason that would change.
yeah, so hopefully, I mean, if look, if I'm San Diego and I'm looking at this list for Orlando City, I'm picking up two names,
Who?
probably three, but I'll pick up Brecalo, Bruceth. No, I'll pick up Brecalo, Lodero, Muriel, or Sucata. And the reason why I say that is because Sucata has a huge upside. I mean, he like, and that's gonna hurt for us. That like losing a player like that. I mean, a potential
Yeah.
international level quality player. I mean, he killed it at OCB. I mean,
Yeah.
he was a goal scorer in MLS Next Pro. I mean, that's just given away. Then Luis Muriel, I believe, it's just gonna give not only name recognition for cheap, than just going and getting somebody from the outside, but it's somebody that also has something to prove, and then he can link up with Chucky Lozano.
He would do well in that market for sure. Like
And
it
he
would
could do well
sell
in that
well.
market,
Yeah.
which is more
But
Spanish oriented
I
there.
I think also the reason we left these guys unprotected, and even guys like Brecalo, because I think they're on too much money. I think we
Yeah,
see a lot like with what other teams have done and what has been reported and expected from San Diego is they're really just going to use this to like fill out the bottom of their roster and like the middle of the roster. So for me, it's more guys like Kyle Smith, Jack
Okada
Lim,
maybe,
like Cicada for sure that you could be brought in, be like, yo,
or
we'll take
Lodero.
maybe Ladero. That one could happen. I wouldn't hate that, honestly. I think that would be quite good for us in some ways, like because he's on a lot of money for a bench player. Um, but also you remember they've got all the teams to pick from and only 5 picks or something like that. So it's not like they get 5 picks from our team of this amount of players that are unprotected. So the likelihood they choose one of our players is I don't know how high it is. Also, like we could have done a deal. A lot of teams, like you look at what happened with Reyes, that came out that New York have basically traded Reyes to them, so therefore they're like exempt from the expansion draft. Like we could have traded them a draft pick or something, Luis, to say don't pick any of our players. It happens in this. We don't know what deals have been done. At 10:30 tonight, the actual expansion draft will be
Yeah,
happening. So Luis, I'm sure I'll be watching that, and
yeah, I'll be watching
we'll
that.
we'll throw out some tweets on that and say what's happening there. So it'll be interesting to see. It's been a few years since we've had an expansion draft. But yeah, definitely potential of things changing. Of course, obviously the Facu situation is ever going on, but also the free agency, like Kyle Smith is not sure whether he's going to be here that year. And then potentially one of these players could leave if everything, happens in the expansion draft where that works out that way. But it's not super likely. I feel honestly, Luis, like we could get out of this draft having lost nobody. And this is just for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility that we keep all the players, although there's also a possibility that we may lose some.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to give an update on Muriel.
Yep.
230 people live. If everybody, that's about 17 people watching on YouTube and 220 on X. Thank you. Make sure you, if you're on YouTube, drop us a thumbs up. We're gonna probably be doing like a short or something for the actual post expansion draft. So, but I spoke to the people from Toque Sports, which were the people who broke the news for Luis Muriel coming to Orlando in Colombia. These were the sourced outlet. It's a very good outlet. So no, I'll be there in just a moment. Yeah, I'll be there in just a second. Yeah. So, um, we so so Luis Muriel right now on Twitter, you're gonna be seeing a lot of pictures of him with the jersey of Junior de Barranquilla, which is his hometown club. Don't So there is the president of Junior showed and he's good friends with the Carlos Vaca, which is the striker there, which is another Colombian player. Now Muriel is in Colombia right now for Christmas, so yeah, yeah, definitely. She got together and they got together and they kind of exchange thoughts. And the president of Junior said, "Hey, we would love to have you in Junior one day, right? We'd love to have you in Junior." So and Muriel apparently, according to Toque Sports, he it's a desire of him to play there. So now I do want to kill some of the rumors that may brew tomorrow about this. There's no talks about Muriel going to Junior de Barranquilla for any sort of disclosed fee. So if tomorrow and the next subsequent days you see anything about that, it's fake. Number two, and this comes from the source, um, or I mean, so there's a higher possibility of Muriel going to San Diego in this expansion draft than him getting into going back to Colombia. The Colombian club cannot even pay 1.5 million. They don't have the money. It's a desire of the player, but he's not going to eat the cost. They're not going to eat the cost of what we paid for him. So money wise, it doesn't make sense for the club, right? So that's kind of when I wanted to give up. And then we also have a leak, right? I just feel like we never get it right, John.
Yeah, I mean, like the transfer news is early. Could you show what's on screen? We've also got we got an early leak on the jersey. Now this looks very official from the
Yeah.
photo, but whether it is 100, like we're not saying this is the jersey. This is just what's been happening on social media. This is going all around X. Everyone, there's been people saying this is the jersey.
I mean, it
It's
has a
hard to
tag.
say. It does have the very official looking tag, but Photoshop nowadays you can do anything. You know what I mean? Like it's not,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, but this potentially could be it. We don't know. Usually it gets leaked like early, like every year when
Yeah.
FIFA, like big FC now
Yeah. FC
gets
FC
it, and
25.
they always like leak it. I don't know who that is in the organization, but it happens every single year that we get all the little cards of it being uploaded into Ultimate Team. And
Yeah.
like last year, they uploaded it early into Ultimate Team. It was literally in the game, like way before it came out. Crazy. This year, this looks like an actual photo, but it kind of looks like it's photoshopped onto some grass. I don't
You
know.
think so?
I don't know whether that's sitting on real
I have,
grass and
I
taking a
have.
photo or it's
Yeah.
Photoshop. I can't tell.
Do you like it first and foremost?
First of all, I'm not
You're not a
obsessed.
fan?
I'm not a huge pattern guy, and this is a lot of pattern.
I'm gonna call it "Rockier Like a Hurricane" jersey, and I better see if the people from the club is listening. You gotta introduce the boys with "Rock You Like a Hurricane" by Scorpions. If you're gonna wear this jersey, "Rock You Like a Hurricane"
It does kind
by
of look like
Scorpions.
tidal flow, like waves, like and it has the
It
hurricane
is
in the
the
bottom.
hurricane.
Yeah.
It has a
I mean,
hurricane
it
patch
would
right
make
there.
sense. The fact that it has this little patch on the bottom is
"Rock You
like
Like a
themed.
Hurricane."
This very much looks like what we would do, right? It's a themed jersey. It's got the tags on it. The stripes are there. So this could definitely be it. But like, how did it get out so early? Who got one? Who took a picture of it and put it online? I don't know because
Bro,
this is this is like a real bad leak. As far as leaks go, the whole basement is flooded.
now my question is, what color are the shorts gonna be? Are they gonna be the light purple, the dark purple, white? I don't think white. Please let not be white. They cannot be white shorts, bro.
I I don't know, man, but I kind of like the lilac purple. I
I
guess
like the light
it's
purple.
growing on me. I just when I first saw it, it's like it's very busy. There's a lot going on here,
The-
like
the- it's the ripples, man.
I guess in terms of it being like a hurricane, it looks like a hurricane because it looks like everything just got like blown all over the jersey and it landed there. Like it looks kind of random. but I guess that's the idea. So, you know, I just like my clean purple, bro. And I'm waiting for the year we bring out a black kit. Like one day there will be a third kit, and it will be a black kit, and it will be Orlando City, and I will buy all of them.
The what?
That's what I vow.
I like this league. I like the I always like the all Orlando jerseys. I think
I
it
think
has a
the
theme of a hurricane theme.
I think that's cool. I like that. I don't mind that. I'm just not
Rock it like a
obsessed with the
hurricane. I do want to
pattern.
hear that
I
though.
do like the 3 color mix of the 3 different purples. That is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that the collar is gold and the stripes are white. That I really hate that. Like, why is the stripe on the collar gold, but the 3 stripes are white? Like, make
Because
them.
gold is makes it too similar as this year.
And then make the one on the on the collar needs to be white too. Then, because it's just I don't know. But hey, look, I used to work in this job and I remember this process, and this is the kind of thing I would have been like, can we change that? But
You know what, it would have been cool, like on
you
the
know,
ripples have like sublimated or like kind of watermark, kind of like a manatee, you know what I mean, like a manatee like going in the
yeah, that
hurricane,
would be cool.
like, but I'm just talking to my, but I
I
think
like
it's
that.
cool. It's
It,
it's the hurricane kid, man.
it's a fun idea, and it's cool, but I prefer the wall kit personally. But then
Yeah, of course.
people will say that's
So
boring. So it depends what you like. If you like a funky kit, this is a cool funky kit.
no, we win a
But
championship with that. I don't
it
care.
it's definitely the most out there home. If it is the kit, it's the most out there home kit we've ever done. It's the
Yeah,
most,
for sure.
we've never done like a pattern like this. It's usually fairly solid with gold and white accents, but this is funky for sure.
I like it. I think it's great. I mean, I like the whole hurricane
Yeah.
motto. I just think they gotta be has to have scorpions rocker like a hurricane.
Yeah.
Sure. If it doesn't have that, then it's gonna be boring.
Luis, I want to say thank you to everybody that is here. All the people, how many people live now?
235 people. So thank you
Thank
so
you
much for your
everybody
support.
who joined us. If you're interested in all the Facu news, go back to the beginning of the video. But I'm gonna have to sign off because I gotta head
Yeah,
out
no,
of
no,
here.
no. We're both leaving. So
So Luis is gonna send us off. Give us the
yeah.
socials.
Well, thank you everybody for your support. This is gonna be translated in. We're gonna have subtitles in Spanish and in English for y'all. Thank you for your support. Thank you to John
We
as well.
we
And
will do the player grades at some point. There's
yeah,
just
we'll do.
so much news. We
Yeah,
keep
we'll do the
promoting
play
it.
grades next week, more than likely. And but anyways, thank you so much for your support again. We're gonna keep you posted. Tomorrow I'll probably have a short for the expansion draft. And anyways, check us out on our social media: Apple Podcast, Spotify, X, Instagram, LP_podcast, Loud and Proud Orlando. Thank you so much, and vamos Orlando. Take care, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one. Take care.